What's up, everybody? It's Kelpsy, and today we're going to talk about Update 44 and what to look forward to. So, Update 44 is, of course, for the Elder Scrolls Online. It's going to go live on October 28th for PC and Mac, and then November 13th for Xbox and PlayStation consoles. So there's a lot to unpack here, so we're going to go through here in sections so we can figure out what all you guys can be excited for, and we can all talk about the feedback of how you guys feel about it. So we're going to start with a bunch of stuff. We're going to start with Battlegrounds is getting a complete overhaul. We are no longer going to have 3 versus 3 versus 3. It's going to be a 4v4 competitive mode and an 8v8 standard mode. Now, 8v8 is going to have all of the original stuff. It's going to have Deathmatch, Crazy King, Domination, Chaos Ball, and Capture the Relic. Chaos Ball and Capture the Relic are going to be tweaked for the new arenas, where Chaos Ball is going to actually have 3 balls, and there's going to be power-ups around the arena, so it's going to be nothing like it is today. And 4v4 is going to be a competitive mode. Now, since I'm on PC and I have access to the public test servers, I can tell you guys off the bat, there is no solo queue as of now on the PTS. So if you like to solo queue, that will now be a thing of the past. That is completely gone, at least on the public test server. And if the past has taught us anything, public test servers is how it will release. So as of now, there is no solo queue coming up. And so for 8v8, the max is going to be a 4-person team, so you can't just run in with a ball group. But without solo queue, I personally think that's going to be pretty hard. Now also, they are changing it so that there's going to be MMR decay over the course of a week, and then full resets every month. So if you don't play, there's the MMR, which isn't a staple right now. So now it's full random. There will be MMR coming up, and it will be a decay. So the better you are, the better people you're going to play against. But then coming up, there's going to be a decay with Update 44. So at the end of the week, if you don't play at all that week, it's going to decay down to nothing. And then at the end of the month, it's going to full reset. So at the beginning of every month, it's going to be full chaos. Now, the two-sided battlegrounds, there's going to be plenty of other things going on. There's going to be events, so we're going to go through a bunch of this stuff. So they're going to be revising a bunch of characters in Cold Harbor. They're going to be revising the original storyline and the original tutorial, so that the OG storylines opening quests is going to be different. Everyone's going to get certain items according to your classes, and it's going to have a much more in-depth way of teaching you how to play the game, so you can get a better concept of everything. I'm not going to go through this in super deep detail because it'll be a crazy long story, but all of this is all about that new tutorial intro quest. Alright, so first things out of the gate, let's talk about the battlegrounds. As we can see, there's going to be the Pit Demons and the Fire Drakes, so there will no longer be a Storm Lords team. And there's going to be 7 new maps designed for 4v4 and 4 new maps designed for 8v8, while 3 maps are better suited for 4v4 due to their smaller size. Players can join these queues at level 50, whereas players between level 10 and 49 will have their own level branded 8v8 matches, and these support solo, duo, trio, or full group participation, but not large groups. Now, as I said previously, there is no solo queue, separate. So you can queue up solo, but you're going to be in queue with duos, trios, and full 4-man groups, which if you were ever on before they started doing solo queue versus group queue, it sucks. So hopefully they're going to fucking not completely shit the bed like they did previously, because if anyone's been on the game for a few years, and you remember a few years back before they did solo queue, it was pretty common that if you were on in peak hours, you would just end up against a full team of werewolves and you would just get mowed down. So hopefully they figure that out. Otherwise, Battlegrounds is going to turn into what it used to be, which was just a desolate pit of horrificness. Now, the Chaos Ball variants, there's going to have one variant with 3 Chaos Balls and one variant with 2 Chaos Balls, where it turns you into a Vampire Lord or a Werewolf Behemoth. 8v8 matches will have the power-ups. They're just like the arena power-ups. They're complete rip-offs. It's the exact same look. It's the same design. All they did was put them in here. It's nothing new. 4v4 queue will have the following game modes: Deathmatch, Domination, Crazy King. However, they will have additional functionality highlighted, such as rounds, lives, and a spectator camera. The rounds are best of 3 matches and will last 5 minutes each round. Some matches will have lives that are displayed to the upper right hand corner. Spectator camera, of course, if you're dead. And team deathmatch with lives. If you wipe an enemy out, it's considered a round win. There will be a competitive leaderboard. And they will have existing 3 solely based on the 4v4 matches and based on your medals earned, similar to the current system. I think that's a bad idea. Doing it off of medals earned is stupid. It should be going off of wins, not medals earned. It's very easy to manipulate the battlegrounds to get a shit ton of medals, but completely fuck your team. So that's stupid. Personally, I think that's just a bad idea because a lot of the medals come off of doing things that have nothing to do with the match. So you could technically lose every single match and get a bunch of medals. Just saying. Tiebreakers have been added to scoring, so if the match ends, there will be a tie. Of course, you have to do that with competitiveness. I don't see anything what it says about, here we go, Battlegrounds rewards. The daily quest will have a structured reward. They now have follow tiers. Green, 1k AP, a battleground set, a soul gem, a small chance battleground style page, 2k AP, 2 soul gems, blue quality, okay, purple 3, style page. All containers will contain battleground style item, a battle master token, a new item earned in battlegrounds used in conjunction with alliance points to purchase new collectibles. Thank God we have another form of currency in the game. If they couldn't make it grindier. Style pages are limited to 1 per day. I already have all of them, so that's fun. There are 2 new mailers for 2-sided battlegrounds, which contain improved rewards, broken and competitive and standard. Yeah. I mean, some of this stuff. Okay, a very low chance of Chef Architect's Lost Thesis. That's nice. If you guys didn't know, this is extremely expensive. Several million gold. So that's, I guess, kind of cool. I mean, it's not like I'm ever going to get that. So this is winning competitive battleground, winning a standard, any loss of the following. You get a PvP item set and a soul gem. I mean, here's the thing. Okay, so starting with the new Gale Skirmish Gladiator style pages, which are exclusively to leaderboard rewards. I mean, I guess that's cool, but like, can I sell those? Because that's all I care about. Okay, now the Imperial City revamp. I don't like that they're calling it this. Let's start that off the out of the gate. It's not an Imperial City revamp. It's an Imperial City merchant revamp. And if anything, it's an Imperial City death sentence. If you're playing a PvP consistently, you know that Imperial City, at least on PC NA, it's fucking dead. Almost no one's in there. And if you're in there for one of 2 reasons. You're either in there to do it daily and get some Telvar and bank your Telvar to hopefully gamble it away later on one of the high-priced weapons in there, or 2, you're just waiting to get into Greyhost. I know some guilds will run like an Imperial City Night, but typically you do an Imperial City Night while everyone's queued for Greyhost. Like, that's all I use it for. Now, my issue is that they're changing a lot of stuff, and we're going to go through it now, and we're going to touch on all of it, and I'm going to explain why I have an issue with it. So they're doing a comprehensive reward restructuring as a part of a major overhaul to how PvP item sets can be acquired, which is stupid. The first major call out is Imperial keys and Imperial free key fragments are being converted to a new account-wide currency called Imperial fragments. Keys and key fragments will be automatically converted from your inventory or when they first go into your inventory from banks, traders, etc. Going forward, enemies will also drop the currency instead of keys or other key fragments. Unlike Telvar, you do not lose this currency on death. So what this is saying is we are no longer going to be able to sell our key fragments, which, if you didn't know, are the big blue shards that you can pick up in Imperial City right now. And I sell them for like 400 gold a piece for PvE players who want items in there but are too afraid to PvP to get Telvar. You can kind of squeak your way out and use key fragments and then go to the key vaults. So that means if you have these right now, or you buy them out of the Guild Trader for now, it will go straight into your inventory and then into your currency tab. So it'll be like Telvar where you cannot trade them. So this is already a huge cut out of the funds from Imperial City. Strike one. Another major call out is vault doors in both Imperial City and its dungeons, Imperial City Prison, White Gold Tower, are no longer gated by the keys or fragments. You can now freely enter vaults without having to worry about the fragment conversions or having keys. Inside the vaults are new vendors who have replaced the treasure chest. This is where you can spend the new Imperial Fragments currency. These vendors contain many of the spoils found throughout the vault chests, as well as some additional item sets and collectibles. Sets are spread out across all 6 vaults, as well as the 2 dungeons, so everyone is encouraged to make sure to hit all the vaults to get the access what they need. So I have several questions for this. One, are they going to get rid of all of the old achievements about getting into these vaults with the keys? And 2, are they going to give everyone those by just walking in, or are they just going to lock everyone out of it? It's just a question. And also, why are traders just standing inside of monster vaults? It just looks, it's just like canonically and like story wise and like immersion, it's just weird. We'll keep moving. As for the Imperial City Sewer vendors, they've also been reconstructed to make more sense and brought up to standards matching those of the previous updates. Telvar Armor and Telvar Second Armor are now Telvar Armor and Telvar Grand Armor. They no longer sell certain individual armor pieces. They now sell item set containers similar to the Elite Gear vendor. So they mostly already did that. They're just getting rid of the ones where you can buy individual pieces. The Telvar Jewelry Merchant is now Telvar Rotating Merchant, which contains weekly rotating stock of goods, including gold BVP jewelry, mythic antiquity leads. That's fucking stupid. Ugh, that mean... Okay, we're going to touch on that. Skill styles and skill style fragments. Great. Treasure map containers, scripts for scribing. Telvar Equipment Lockbox Merchant is now the Telvar Collectibles Merchant, which has Zivkin polymorphs, Siege of Cyrodiil glue items, which is, I don't know, I didn't know they were called that. They're like little envelopes, and you use your Cyrodiil merits, which are, the Siege of Cyrodiil merits, sorry. And it's you get like Gravegrass from them and a couple other things, like the Timber Wanderer's costume. Dragon Guard Berserker style pages, Red Rook Garb style pages. It doesn't say Grave. Oh, I guess that could be here, the Gravegrass, but yeah, it would be in there because it's random. The Telvar Merchant is staying in place, now only selling crafting materials, glyphs, soul gems, styles, furnishings. Okay. Oh, here we go. Achievements associated with Imperial City and key fragments have been changed. Define will be removed from the game. Key collector, Imperial City locksmith, dungeon locksmith. So the 3 things I ground out before are now just being taken. Awesome. The following have been added. Imperial fragment collector. If you previously had key collector achievement, you will automatically be granted to you. Neat. Okay. So now that's all Imperial City has to change. This right here. The only thing that draws people into Imperial City outside of money and a waiting room is on the off chance they need a mythic lead from a district boss. I know Malakath's Band of Brutality needs it. I think that's it. Maybe Death Dealer's Fate. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly, but this is just saying that it's going to let you get mythic leads and not have to PvP for it. Which is just, I mean, why aren't... This, to me, is the death sentence. This is going to be the end. I think I might do a full video on just, this is going to be the end for Imperial City. This is going to be a huge nail in the coffin. Because it's not saying, I don't see... It might say it later on. We'll make sure to keep an eye out. But they said it in the live stream that all the Imperial City things are going to be curated now. So like every item, every big ticket item, the Powerful Assault Ice Staff, the Black Rose two-handed sword, all those are going to be dead, price-wise. So, like, if the big ticket items aren't there, that means everyone's just going to flood the market with Hakushos. And that once those go far enough low, what are we doing? You know what I mean? All right, let's keep moving. All right, so we're going to jump through a few things on this patch notes. This is how this is a little flow chart on how the PvP sets are going to be dispersed. Basically, the new sets are going to cycle in, the old sets are going to cycle in, and then it's going to be like time-based cycles of what new sets are going to be coming out of Rewards of the Worthy, whereas the old stuff's always going to drop from certain stuff. They word it really awful through all those bullets. It's whatever. Golden Pursuits. Golden Pursuits are going to be kind of like live action events, but it's just going to be a list of basically endeavors you have to do. On the PTS, they have some up where it's like, oh, pick up fucking 50 resources. And it's like 3 or 4 things to do. It'll give you like a crown crate and then a mount. It's really just, I don't know. They seem like a very thinly veiled idea to keep everyone logging in, and with like the threat of FOMO, like, oh, if you want this mount, we're going to lock you out of it, so you have to do it. It's kind of like a more labor intensive version of the, like the merchants rewards on WoW. It's just, worse stuff with more effort. This section tells us about how PC's getting HDR and consoles getting jack shit for that. Have fun, console. That sucks. New homes. There's going to be 2 new homes. They showcase those for well over half of the live stream because this is all about selling stuff to us. New furnishings that are going to be available probably in the Crown Store. There's going to be new skill styles. You're going to be able to like turn certain stuff purple. New companions. This is actually a really big, another really big part that people are upset about. I'll bring it up on the actual page here. So there are these 2 guys. There's the Spooky Cat and the Bitchy Elf. And they're going to be available in the Crown Store. Or you have to have ESO Plus. But you'll have to pick them up in base game. So Spooky Cat is in Reaper's March. Bitchy Elf is in Oradon. And you have to buy them in the store. Like, literally, it's you can acquire them for free with ESO Plus, or you have to purchase them with crowns. And they're going to be the only new companions that have actual, like, skills. Like, Spooky Cat can see valuable bags of loot, and Bitchy Elf can force open locks. So, like, yeah, definitely not pay to win, since the only bot companions are going to have actual in-game buffs. Let's keep moving before we keep digging. Legacy of Bretons is going to be an event that's coming up. Seems like it might be a thing. This is about PTS. Battleground MMR, not up to date. This is about Battleground stuff. A bunch of fixes for stuff. Here we go. And here are the patches for the classes. So first up, Dragonknight Inferno. The cauterized morph is now going to heal up to 4 allies every 3 seconds, rather than 1 ally every 5 seconds, reducing the healing per tick by 33%, resulting in 11% increase in healing per second with the new faster tick rate. Increase the cost to 3240 from 2160, so it's going to be a much more effective heal, but it's going to cost more and be less bursty, but that's still pretty good. Developer comment. We'll see. Templar, they are getting the Adric Spears, now going to taunt the enemy. So the old focus, in the Adric Spear category, Focus Charge will be taunt the enemy for 15 seconds, increasing the duration of major protection. Toppling morph to 7 seconds from 4. That's really good. Explosive Charge, morphs taunt, applies to the first ally hit. Pretty dope. Sun Shield. This ability will, and its morphs, now apply minor maim to enemies in the area for 10 seconds. That's really good. Okay, so they are... Well, downside Templars, you guys, I can see how Sun Shield could do some shit like that. That's pretty nice. Up in damage in 1 morph. But really, you guys are just getting support stacking. They're looking like they're trying to make the Templar a little bit of a better tank for PvE. So it does not look like you guys are getting much in ways of PvP help. So sorry about that. Now, Nightblade. Teleport Strike. They fixed an issue. Lotus Fan now deals an initial hit in an area with the caster applies damage every time the enemy's hit. That's cool. Now this is the big one here. Shadow Cloak. This ability, Shadow Disguise, are now toggled abilities. So now you will turn them off and turn them on instead of recasting every few seconds. So now you'll turn it on and you'll be drained 3,200 magicka, which is the base cost, every 2 seconds until you disable it or when you run out of magicka, rather than costing 45.90 base magicka and persisting for 3 seconds. In addition to this, these abilities will now grant Born from Shadow for 10 seconds when the ability is activated again, and when they end, which increases your damage done to monsters type 10%. So used to, that would just show up when it ended. So now it starts when it begins, and it is cheaper. So this is really good for stam blades, especially the gank blades that are still really, really popular right now. So it's kind of crazy that we've avoided pretty much all nerfs right now. So good update for Nightblades again. Sorcerers. I seen this earlier. This is a big one. We've seen this coming. Conjured Ward. Reduce the heal scaling of this ability and the Hardened Ward morph to match the scaling of Regenerated Ward morph, which is 10% off max health and magicka, down from 15%. So we are losing 5% of that. Our shields are going to be 5% less effective. That's rough. I still don't think that's enough of a nerf to cause us any like true harm in PvP by spamming that, but we'll see. Daedric Curse, fixed an issue. Expert Summoner, yeah, the passive was hitting when you were using the Daedric Mask with non-permanent pets, and they changed that. Storm Calling, fixed an issue with Overload, good. Warden, they just fixed an issue, no big changes. Wardens aren't in the worst place right now, so that's good. Necromancer. Now, I've seen the Necromancer got a pretty good jump here. Bitter Harvest fixed an issue with its morphs. The Grave Grasp now does frost damage rather than magic damage. It no longer applies minor maim on each hit, and the areas now apply new effects instead of the original crowd control effects. The new first area guarantees chilled status effect, which also applies minor maim instead of snaring, which is fucking huge, because before, Warden was one of the only people, besides then Scribing, but like one of the best ways to get chilled no matter what. So this is big news for our Necromancers. The second area applies frost damage over 5 seconds, similar to the Burning Talons or Acid Spray. And the final area now generates a corpse if at least one person is hit rather than sunning them. So that is a big buff to Grave Grasp, which is awesome. They fixed Sacrificial Bones, where it used to leave behind a corpse. Okay, fixed an issue. All right, so the only big change for Necromancer is another awesome, in my opinion, big buff. That's awesome. Arcanist. Arcanist is getting hit again hard, guys. I'm sorry to tell you. Reduce the size of the morph shield by 1 second by window. Okay, by 56%. That is kind of rough. So that's the Impervious Rune Ward. Reduces the size of the morph's shield after the 1 second window by 56%. Not the worst, but this is kind of bad. Runic Defense, the Rune Guard of Freedom, which is personally my favorite get out of jail free card on the Arcanist, reduces the healing granted by that morph by 50%. Increase the armor granted to 3,300, up from 300, which is not that much. That does not make up for that massive fucking cut in the heal. Increase the duration of the armor of crowd control immunity granted to 7 seconds. And they fixed an issue where the crowd control immunity failed to apply. But that big cut, cutting it by 50%, is fucking massive. So that is rough. Yeah, so they're cutting it because of PvP, but honestly, that there's not enough Arcanist in PvP to grant this. They're just cutting the fucking Arcanist to shreds. This is a rough time, because this is what I use for my Infinite Archive build too. So that's rough. All right, now there's going to be another Grimoire, the first new one since the release of Gold Road, and this one is going to be called the Banner Bearer. So with the Banner Bearer, there's going to be new focus scripts added to the game that are also going to be able to go into that. So here is the new Focus scripts are going to be coming out, but the big thing is the banner bearer is going to be in the support skill line, and you throw a banner on your back, leading the charge with an AoE buff to your group's abilities to match your chosen focus. No matter what party you're, yeah, they're just advertising. So it's just a support skill. It seems like it's going to be pretty cool. I really don't know how it's going to do anything different than Ulfsild's contingency, because literally right now you can just use that and roll dodge and do the exact same thing. And if you have anything out like a bow, it also gives you a quick run for a passive. So I don't know how it's going to do anything different than that, but let's hope for something cool, you know? They're fixing some issues with the Grimoires. The Necromancer script will now only produce a corpse when its conditions are met while in combat rather than any time. That does suck. Yeah, so that is the Grimoire. The banner bearer is going to be the new Grimoire, and that's kind of it. Besides adding greater support for the 9 Grimoires by granting them access to 14 additional focus scripts, which are these guys right here. Now here are the new item sets that are coming out. Tracker's Lash gives us 199 weapon, 1000 magicka, 129 weapon and spell. When your attack is dodged, increase your weapon and spell damage by 95 for 7 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. I don't see that catching on. Shared Pain, this one sounds interesting. Stamina, spell damage. Whenever you are dealt damage from a damage or time ability, you deal magic damage to the attacker. This effect scales off your higher weapon and spell damage. Reduce your damage taken from damage or time plus 8%. Interesting, maybe. If that stacks, it could be interesting. If that stacks, that could be really interesting. If it doesn't stack, I don't get it. But if it stacks, like if somebody hits me with elemental susceptibility, like if you're fighting a Dragonknight, like your standard dueling setup Dragonknight, they run up, Noxious Breath, that's one. Searing Strike, that's one. Elemental susceptibility, that's one. If all of those stack and it scales off of my weapon and spell damage, that could be interesting. If it doesn't stack, fucking useless. But it doesn't say it doesn't, so we don't know. Siege Master's Focus. While you're using a non-ram siege weapon, you're immune to knockback and disabling effects. You reduce your damage taken by 33%. You can see enemies through walls. I can see how that would be niche. I can definitely see that. I would never use it, because as soon as I get off my ballista, I run inside and fight people. Here are the new battleground sets. Bulwark of Ruination, crit chance, weapon and spell. That's a good lineup. Whenever somebody blocks one of your attacks, reduce the amount of damage it can block by 8% for 5 seconds. This spec can stack to 5 times and can occur every 0.3. Okay. Holy shit. So wow, you can reduce. Okay, so this is the end of a lot of troll tanks right there, because someone running this, because this just says the amount of damage they can block, not from you, just they can block. That's 45%, just you. 8% by 5 times. Holy shit. So that's interesting. We'll see if that stacks. I'm guessing it's going to be a singular debuff, but we'll see. The medium, the Forest Rider, armor, stamina, crit chance. When you deal direct damage with blink, charge, leap, decrease the crit resistance of your enemy by 40% and increase your crit resistance by an equal amount for 10 seconds. Now this will be very interesting with the bomb build. Very fucking interesting. You run this with Vicious Death, and you have your boy run Dark Convergence on a fucking Bag Crow, and you do a fucking tandem bomb. Dirt nasty. Next, Netch Oil. Stamina, health, stamina. While you have crowd control immunity, you're immune to snares and immobilizations. I don't see a need for that. Maybe a troll tank or something, but other than that, meh. Alright. Then when we have some fixes, crafted sets, they're finally getting onto Dragon's Appetite. where the stacks only last for 5 seconds, so that's pretty rough. Class sets, Firebrand, fix an issue. Beacon of Oblivion, only for permanent pets rather than any pet. Caught us. Stormfist, fix an issue. Mythics. All right, so one big thing that you can see on this screen right here is actually pretty massive, and it's right under the spoiler. Tarnished Nightmare will now have a 1.3 second delay before it deals damage in order to allow for more warning and potential counterplay. So this seems like almost a footnote going through everything, but this is huge because with this having now such a big delay, a 1.3 second delay, this is going to let you shield up. It says potential counterplay. I don't know if that means you can purge it or not, but if it lets you purge it, I mean, that's gonna this is gonna flip Tarnished Nightmare on its head. So we're gonna see what that means. This could be the death of Tarnished Nightmare. Now, if you can't purge it, it won't be as bad, but still, a 1.3 second delay, that's enough to shield and just avoid the damage. So that's a big deal. At least I think it is, and I just wanted to point that out before we kept scrolling through all the smaller bits, is that Tarnished Nightmare is getting this big, I think, debuff, a big nerf, and we'll see how it plays come the update. Serabane's Ward, fix an issue, PvP sets. Okay, it looks like they're just doing a lot of fixing. They're not doing a lot of debuffs and other things, which is really nice. Itemization, general zone, fixed. Yeah, so it looks like everything. Yeah, everything else is just fixing issues. Okay, cool. So, okay, so here's one thing. ESO Plus members are now going to get 10% AP and Telvar gain from monsters, which is nice because it's just monsters. So that's pretty cool, I guess. This will not increase leaderboard rank for AP gains nor faster progress rewarding for rewards of the worthy. So it's not going to give you any it's not going to give you an advantage for Emperor, which is rough. But at least it's good because it's not just completely leaning into give us money and get things. Quest markers, harvesting. So this is another really rough one. Harvesting. Now the furnishing nodes, or the furnishing things, are getting dropped much more. The following furnishing base materials have their drop chances increased: mundane runes, heartwood, decorative wax. So they are again slashing into the economy because these are all three the expensive furnishing items. So that's rough. They're finally adding joining in progress to all of the OG dungeons, which is fucking great. I really wish they would have done that like earlier, or like try to get it out before this big event, but whatever. And it looks like that is the big deal. They're changing some things. Let's see for Witches Festival, since that's coming up. Fixed a minor issue with the exit portal. Okay. Walkable. Okay, nothing big. All right. You can now bank these items. Grand Amnesty Edict's nice. Imperial Retreat's nice. Yeah, I don't see much else that's really leaning into. We need to talk about a lot of very general shit. Yeah, everything looks good. But all right. So this has been the Update 44 discussion. You guys tell me. How do you feel about it? Do you think that do you think the new Battlegrounds is a good move? Do you think that switching to 2 teams is a solid idea? And how do you feel about everything else? How do you feel about them selling the new companions that are going to have actual like in-game buffs? And how do you feel about all the gold pursuits and everything else? Because I personally am not happy with the Imperial City itemization differences. I'm not happy with that at all. I think that this is insane that this is even on the front page of the update. This should be over here with the sale items. It has nothing to do with the update. These are Crown Store items. Gold pursuits, to me, like I said when we were talking about them, I don't hate the idea. I think it's an interesting idea. I like the merchant rewards in WoW, but I do think that this is just a device to use FOMO to get people to log in, because we are at a record low population right now. Like, the game's population is rapidly dropping, and it has been all summer. So let me know, guys, how do you feel about it? And if you like it, let me know how you feel, like your view on it. And if you don't like it, I mean, let me know. Like, what do you think they should do different? But as always, thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out, talking about Elder Scrolls and gaming stuff. And yeah, if you guys want to talk more, join the Discord. If you don't, tell me to fuck off in the comments. As always, thank you so much. Love you guys. Have a great one.